Did you know that the total living cost for a student in Ireland is 18,000 euros a year? That's huge, right? Now, what can you do as a student to mitigate this cost to the maximum level possible? You need to get the most out of your part time jobs. Working part time in Ireland can get you at least 1000 euros a month if done properly. In this video, we are going to discuss how exactly should you get these part-time jobs, how much are you expected to be paid, how should you approach people to get into these jobs, and finally we are going to calculate the net living cost after you have made that money from that job. So first let's talk about how much can you actually make as a student working in Ireland. You're allowed to work 20 hours a week, and the minimum wage that an Irish employer has to mandatorily pay a student is 14.15 euros an hour. By that logic, you can make 280 euros a week and hence approximately 1100 euros a month. But that's not a realistic calculation. Realistically, alongside with your masters, you will be able to do 10 to 15 hours a week and hence you will be able to make around 700 to 800 euros a month. This is good enough to mitigate at least 60% of your living cost in Ireland. Okay, so now let's talk about what type of jobs are you expected to do as a student when you're working part-time in Ireland. So I've jotted a few down over here. So you can typically be working as a cashier or a retail assistant at a supermarket. So Ireland has these supermarket chains such as Tesco, Duns, and SuperValue who hire students as part-time employees. You can be working at McDonald's, at KFC, such sort of restaurant chains as a waiter or a kitchen assistant. You can be working as a security guard or be doing nighttime jobs such as a night porter, which typically pay more than your daytime jobs. However, they can mess up your sleep schedule. So, depending upon how much commitment you're willing to give to a job, you can choose whichever you want to. You can also be expected to work as a cleaner or a housekeeping assistant, more jobs such as warehouse operative, cafe assistant, and so on. Now, if you have any Ireland regarding doubts with respect to cities, living costs, the courses that you want to choose, the universities, which university is suitable for you, I am offering a one-on-one free guidance session for you. You can go to the link in description down below. It's the first link mentioned there. Hit that and you can book a one-on-one session with me on our website. We are going to have a 30-minute call one-on-one with you. I'm going to understand your case and offer you personalized guidance. Now let's come to the most important part, which is how do you exactly get these jobs for yourself? So, the most crucial and the most effective way of doing this is the following: you need to spam your CV to as many people as you can, and you can do it two ways. Go to any online portal, okay? So go to Indeed, go to LinkedIn, go to Glassdoor, and you will see these part-time job openings in your region. And straight away apply and spam everything that you see. Just apply left, right, center. This is approach number one. Usually less effective than the second one. The second approach is this: you take printouts of your CV, all right, and you walk down the street, and whichever restaurant you see or whichever cafe you see, any store that you see that possibly is offering part-time jobs, you straight away barge in there, okay, talk to someone in the senior management or someone who is responsible for handling the store or who is in charge there, and hand out your CV straight away to them. All right, do this multiple times and you will start getting calls for interviews for these part-time roles. Now, one thing that most students forget is this: they do not follow up. You need to follow up at least 4 or 5 times to each of these places, and then only will you have chances of getting a part-time job there. Typically, it takes for a student 1 to 1.5 months with this approach to get a part-time job in Ireland. So before you apply to any part-time jobs in Ireland, you need three things. One is that you need an active bank account in Ireland. Second, you need a social security number which corresponds to a PPS card there. And finally, you need a resident permit card, which is also known as IRP. So you need these three documents before you start applying to any part-time jobs there. These are the first things that you need to get done as soon as you land in Ireland. Now, as a student who is deciding which city to live in when you're moving to Ireland, you have to make a very simple but important choice. This is basically a trade-off between living costs and job opportunities. Cities such as Dublin will offer you higher part time and full time job opportunities, but at the same time, for obvious reasons, the cost of living in such cities will also be higher. Whereas cities such as Galway will offer you relatively lower part time opportunities, but again, the cost of living is also low there. Now let's talk about what living cost should you expect living in these cities. In case of Dublin, as I've explained in one of my videos previously, the typical living cost is approximately 18,000 euros an year. Now, if you're making 1,000 euros a month, or let's say even 800 euros a month, you can bring down this cost to almost 60% of its original, and that brings you a number of 11,000 euros an year. So that is your net living cost in a city like Dublin. Whereas in other cities such as Galway and Limerick, this net living cost after deducting the money you make from these part-time jobs is going to be approximately 9,000 to 10,000 euros an year. So this video is a part of a series where we jot down the actual realities of Ireland as a country for all international students. If you want us to keep bringing content like this to you, you need to hit that subscribe button down below, and this will keep motivating us to bring such content to you on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.